Chapter Chapter 13, Section 4. Californios were to California what Taínos were to Texas. There were about 6,000 of them and 150,000 Native Americans in California before the 49ers arrived. Many Californios, settlers of Spanish or Mexican descent, lived on huge cattle ranches. Just before the end Mexican War, James Marshall discovered gold in the American River in Northern California. This triggered one of the greatest migration in American history. Thousands from all over the world headed to California to make their fortunes. Most rushed there in 1819. Thus, they were called 49ers. Easterns had these choices for routes: sail 18,000 miles around South America and up the Pacific coast, sail to the Isthmus of Panama, cross overland, and then sail to California. Travel the trails across North America. Seasickness and spoiled food, risk of catching a deadly tropical disease, rivers, prairies, mountains. Most of the 49ers were young white American men. Others came from Mexico, Europe, South America, Australia, and China. Few miners got rich. Miners had to pay very high prices for basic supplies. Many newcomers choose to open business to meet the demands of what became a booming region. By the peak of the gold rush, 1852, about 250,000 people had flooded into California. It was It was admitted as a free state in 1850. Again, on fire? Again, this application for statehood created tension. Nancy Gooch, freed by the law there against slavery, worked to buy the freedom of children in Missouri, then bought Sutter's sawmill, where the gold rush started. The California population explosion ruined many Californians. Their legal rights were not respected and their property seized. Thousands of Native Americans died from disease brought there. Thousands more were killed by settlers. Rivers were diverted and polluted. Hunting grounds were taken over. By 1870, California's Native American population dropped from 150,000 to 58,000. The California State Legislature passed the foreign miners tax to force out the foreign competition. Many of the Chinese opened business in San Francisco, their neighborhood becoming known as Chinatown, as it still is. San Francisco became our West Coast center of banking, manufacture, trade, and shipping. Its increased population led Sacramento to become the center of a rich farming region, which is what John Sutter wanted when he hired James Marshall to build a sawmill along the American River.